The United States is reportedly responsible for 30% of the world's female prisoner population. The National Council for Incarcerated Women and Girls is calling on President Joe Biden to grant clemency to 100 women in his first 100 days in office. With more than 50 days into his presidency, will Joe Biden get that job done? Joining us now to talk much more about this, as well as the hashtag FreeHer campaign, is Andrea James, Executive Director of the National Council for Incarcerated and Formerly Incarcerated Women and Girls. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for taking the time. Really a privilege to talk with you here. I'm curious, that one statistic I just read off here to intro the segment really stood out to me. What are some of the most grim statistics as it pertains to specifically incarcerated women and girls that you don't think, Andrea, enough people pay enough attention to?
Well, I think people don't realize the number of incarcerated women who are mothers, women who have been separated. I know a lot of conversation is taking place now around the separation of mothers from their children at the border. Here in the United States, we because of incarceration, separate mothers from their children every day, and they make up about 90% of the incarcerated population. Women who are mothers, whose children are left behind, who often are entered into a child welfare system that also, in addition to the criminal legal system, needs a significant amount of work to change. And so these are the things that people don't understand, the continued trauma as a result of incarceration of women causes on families and children.
Andrea, I hope you'll permit me a bit more of a personal question on this, and it relates directly to the end part of the sentence you just said. In a statement, you have said, quote, "As formerly incarcerated women, we believe a prison will never be the place for a woman or a girl to heal and advance her life." Would you be willing to shed a bit more light, personally speaking, on why you feel so confident to say that women and girls simply should not be in this environment?
Well, 90% or upwards of 90% of women who are currently incarcerated are victims themselves of trauma, sexual violence, interpersonal violence, starting from very young ages of girls. Prisons cause further harm. I know that because I lived in a prison. I think that we would love to and always want to encourage people who have opinions about whether we should be using prisons in the manner that we do in this country and at the rate that we do, that people should leave it up to the experts. And those are people who actually have had the direct experience of incarceration and what it's like to live in a prison. When people are struggling and suffering from trauma, which is the underlying cause of most people's lives who are incarcerated. People just didn't wake up one day and create transgressions or cause harm to other people. It's a process that lands people on a prison bunk. And when we use environments such as prisons, which are also trauma-causing environments, it's not the answer. And for women and girls, with the high percentage who are incarcerated having experienced trauma themselves, it certainly is not the environment for a woman or a girl to begin the process of healing and advancing her life.
There's no doubt that the United States' relationship with mass incarceration is one of the darkest chapters, and really with regards to how we treat our citizens. And I think the point you make about specific citizens, specifically here, women and girls, is very well taken. Talk to me about the advocacy to try and reach the White House. You're calling on President Joe Biden to issue 100 such either sentence commutations, I'd assume, or clemencies within 100 days. We are just about 50% into that time allotment. What has that looked like, and what are your hopes for the remaining 45 or so days?
Well, we know that President Biden has been working on different social justice issues at the forefront of his first 100 days. We wanted him to connect the dots, to understand, as he has made one of those issues racial justice, that clemency is racial justice, that we should not underestimate the power of the tool of clemency to not only be used as a gift, which we have seen in past presidencies, that's how it's been used typically. We're encouraging President Biden to really set a different trend, to begin the process of using clemency, such as what President Obama did. We worked very aggressively under the Obama administration and were able to push many women out through clemency, deserving to come home, deserving of a second chance, women who are elderly, who are sick, who have been in prison for 20, 25, 30 years. They've been incarcerated for drug cases, for drug conspiracy cases. These women deserve a second chance. They deserve an opportunity to come home. And had they been sentenced today, it is very unlikely that they would have received much of the mandatory minimum sentences for decades that they are currently enduring, and many of them life sentences for a drug case and because of the use of conspiracy. And so we are asking President Biden to really understand that racial justice is clemency. Clemency is racial justice. And by coming out and using freely with the stroke of a pen and liberating 100 women who deserve that second look, who deserve to come home. Many of them are sick, elderly again. They've been in prison for 25, 20, 30 years. We're asking him to step out and to change how clemency has been used and use it as a tool as opposed to just a gift at the end of an administration.
And it is incredible how many of these cases are facing conspiracy charges specifically, Andrea. The numbers are grim. I'm very appreciative that you take the time. Andrea James, Executive Director of the National Council for Incarcerated and formerly incarcerated women and girls. Thank you so much.